Back on Sports Bit, Pauly and Teddy. Big game breakdown continues. The late game Sunday on Fox. Giants and the Packers from Lambeau. Green Bay 4.5, 44.5 the total. 11-5 against 10-6. Also a rematch. Week 5, Packers won 23-16. Game temp 12. And you look at this. Who's been better in this spot in NFL history other than when you look at Eli Manning's numbers? 7-1 playoff games, road neutral. Green Bay's won 4 in a row. They scored at least 30 points in all 4 games. They've won 6 in a row to close the season. Giants allowed 17.8 points per game of the season on defense. Should be a hell of a matchup. And look at this. In 2007, the Giants lost at home to Green Bay, won the NFC Championship game in Lambeau. 2011, the Giants lost at home to Green Bay, beat them again in the playoffs, and won the Super Bowl. Will it happen again, Teddy?
No, because the Giants didn't lose at home to Green Bay this year. They lost at Lambeau, right?
Yes, but can they go in and win? Yeah, right. He's
so
wise ass.
It's not going to be an exact repeat of previous Giants runs to the Super Bowl. And look, all the hype's been about the Giants' defense. Let's talk about the Giants' offense for a minute, because Ben McAdoo took over the offensive coordinator in 2014, and they were decent. They were overall, look at the numbers. They're number 14 offense. They weren't a particularly good running team, but they were well above average passing. Then last year with McAdoo as the OC, and it declines in every category. And then we look at this year, when now it's everyone's supposed to be super comfortable in this offense and real happy. And what happens? They decline again, down to 23 overall in offense, number 26 against the running the football. A little bit better than last year against the pass. But when you have, Eli's a Hall of Famer, right? When you have a Hall of Famer at QB and 3 big-time weapons for him to throw to, you don't expect to see Football Outsiders rank this offense number 21 in the NFL this season. The Giants have underachieved on that side of the football.
Does the earlier meeting mean anything? They contained Beckham and the Giants couldn't run the ball. And how much confidence do you have in this Giants offense?
And that's the handicap of this game. If you believe that the Giants offense is going to move the football and going to do better than they did in the first meeting, you're probably on the Giants here. If you look at Green Bay and say, holy cow, their offense is a whole lot better than it was when these two teams met earlier in the season, and maybe make a case for the for the Packers. Aaron Rodgers wasn't real good in that first meeting. You say, how much emphasis do I put on a meeting from October 9th between these two teams? Honestly, not very much. And it's the same story with Oakland-Houston, the regular season meetings. I don't put a lot for that one. Pittsburgh-Miami, regular season meeting. I don't put a lot of emphasis on that one. We talk about it because there's some interesting talking points, and you can see the progression of what happened then and what we expect to happen now. But in terms of using the first matchup from games played months ago and saying, oh, that's going to happen again? No, it'll happen different. It'll very happen different. Of course, Eli really struggled in that first meeting between these two teams. OBJ was pretty much neutralized in that contest, and the Giants couldn't run the football at all, where they have 43 rushing yards in that first contest.
Yes, Giants, with the help of Spagnuolo's defense, closed 9-2 straight up. Packers closed 5-1 ATS and 6-0 straight up, as I mentioned earlier. Big reason why was our guy, Ty Montgomery.
Yeah, he sure was. But it wasn't only Montgomery for Green Bay. And when you talk about the guys that made a real difference down the stretch, Jordy Nelson, who wasn't the same receiver over the first half of the season as he had been. But with that combination, with Montgomery switching from wide out to running back and all of a sudden making a bunch of plays, and with Nelson finally getting comfortable in his new role with Green Bay, all of a sudden that offense really started blowing up. But, it's Aaron Rodgers. Look, Aaron Rodgers has 18 touchdown passes and 0 picks in his last 7. Green Bay as a team has no turnovers in their last 4 games. They have eliminated mistakes for the better part of the last 6 weeks. Now, they're playing a pretty good defense, a defense that's also been able to make a lot of plays, even against some good quarterbacks.
Yeah. Mike Florio, Pro Football Talk, wrote about this earlier in the week, about playoff teams' record against other playoff teams. How important is that to you?
Modestly. Again, it's when you're trying to build a case, or when I'm trying to build a case, I'm looking for as much information and stats as I can find. So yeah, who beat who and who played who is absolutely a factor. Strength of schedule is absolutely a factor. I mean, the Giants versus playoff teams this year, what happened? They beat the Cowboys twice. Both of those were coin flip games. The combined margin of victory, 4 points. They beat the Lions, lousy weather, week 16. That's it. You know, Green Bay, they beat the Lions twice. They beat the Giants in the first meeting. They beat the Texans, and they had that impressive win over the Seahawks. So when you go to who have they beaten this year, the Packers certainly have the better resume in that regard, although the Giants have the strength of schedule edge overall because they played in the tougher division. And, of course, Minnesota tanked down the stretch. Chicago wasn't very good. And in the NFC East, everybody was pretty good, even Philadelphia.
All right, money time, play of the day. Even though the numbers say to go with the Giants, we've won 5 in a row with the Packers. So we're not splitting the atom here. Ride this streak. Don't go against it. 46-24 on the football season. On Thursday's show, we gave out Detroit, Seattle over Saturday night. Let's go betting number 108, Green Bay, minus 4.5 to get it done. Let's make it 6 in a row with the Packers to win and cover and get the money. All right with you?
Yeah, sure. Though it hasn't been 6 in a row, they did lose. They had the one game at Chicago where they led by 17 in the second half.
Hey guys, for the full video, go to sbrpicks.com.
That's right, the 8th annual SBR Forum Bash will be held at the breathtaking all-inclusive Hard Rock Hotel in Punta Cana on Super Bowl weekend. Join Natalie Rydstrom and the Odds Couple as they mingle with SBR pros and have fun under the sun. Stay tuned for video coverage of Bash activities, including a $5,000 poker tournament sponsored by uwager.eu. Only on SBR, your sportsbook authority since 1999.